What is the deal here? Why would the former president have dinner with somebody who I guess is an avowed anti-Semite?
Well, first of all, let's start with Ye, because Ye was in the Oval Office as an anti-Semite and caused quite a bit of ruckus at the time. But obviously, Donald Trump wasn't put off by that, because he invites him again to Mar-a-Lago as a presidential candidate, which is even more stunning after all the problems that Ye has got himself into, and claims did not know that Nick Fuentes, avowed Nazi sympathizer, white nationalist, anti-Semite. I mean, we could go through the list, right? Everything we don't like about, people in this category. And he shows up at dinner. What kind of staffing is that? He's a presidential candidate, and he doesn't know who he's having dinner with, which really is an indictment of his own, sort of self-discipline. But this guy, Nick Fuentes, I mean, he really showed up on the scene during the Charlottesville riots that were fomented by Nazi sympathizers. And he's got his own TV show. He's quite a celebrity in what is considered the underbelly of evil. And the reality is, Donald Trump should have been running away from this, but not trying to explain about, oh my God, the guy was impressive, and but I didn't even know he was coming to see me, and I didn't know who he was. I mean, all these protestations seem pretty hollow.
You want to pile on?
I want to pile on. Vile is the right word, and not only should Donald Trump have been running away from him, but so should the Republican Party. Because, David, while you may not know who Nick Fuentes is, very prominent members of the Republican Party do, and that includes Marjorie Taylor Greene, that includes Paul Gosar, who spoke before his group, and there has been almost deafening silence from the GOP on this. We had the former U.S. ambassador to Israel did speak out and strongly condemn this, to his credit, as did Chris Christie. Maybe we will hear others. This is a nightmare for the GOP, because as all these lawmakers return to D.C. this week, what they are being asked about is not about their plans to combat inflation, not about their plans in terms of oversight of the Biden administration or what they want to do in the coming term. They are being asked about Donald Trump courting anti-Semites. And again, if you look up Nick Fuentes and hear what he had to say, as Rick mentioned, starting from Charlottesville all the way through to today, that is, vile hardly describes it. And I think my favorite part of the reports out of this was that Kanye West, or Ye, as you guys call him, he has decided he is running for president and actually asked Donald Trump to be his vice presidential running mate, which set Donald Trump off, apparently. So nothing worse for Donald Trump than that. And of course, he then took to Truth Social to disavow knowing anything about Nick Fuentes.
Okay, so this is a pretty ripe story, obviously. But, Rick, I wonder whether the bigger story, and an adverse story potentially for the former president, actually came out of the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals and a couple of judges who, in fact, Donald Trump appointed.
That's right. The special prosecutor, Jack Smith, had quite a holiday, basically going to the 11th Circuit and saying, this special master that was appointed to really get in the way of an ongoing investigation was really abnormal. The judge at the 11th Circuit asked the Trump lawyers a couple questions as to what their rationale is for defending it. They couldn't even answer the questions. Most lawyers I've talked to have an expectation that the special master will be thrown out this week before some deadlines that are starting to come into play. And that may clear the opening for an indictment to Donald Trump before the end of the year.
Yeah, it was a very bad week for Donald Trump legally. You had the Supreme Court saying he must turn over his tax records. You have the continuing investigations. And then, of course, as you were just talking about, this 11th Circuit hearing, which was very bad news for the Trump for Trump's candidacy, and also for, what he is facing from the DOJ, because it looks like now they will be able to investigate and continue their investigation into the classified documents at Mar-a-Lago without being held back by this special master. And so if Donald Trump thought that announcing his candidacy early was going to make it difficult for the DOJ, with the appointment of a special prosecutor and also with a pending decision out of the 11th Circuit, these are both bad signs. And, we don't know what the DOJ does with this, but they are, it could be that they do decide at some point in the new year to prosecute. And Donald Trump's announcement doesn't seem like it fended that off at all. And of course, he's still got competitors in the GOP who look like they are thinking of announcing to run for president as well. So if he thought he was going to put them off, neither of those tactics succeeded for Donald Trump.